I'm Ken Wright from Wright Water Engineers, Denver Consulting Engineers, and Karl and I represent the Association of State Dam Safety Officials.
I'm Karl Kingery. I'm an engineer with Wright Water Engineers and also a member of the Association of State Dam Safety Officials, and Ken and I are both on the committee for safety around dams.
This video is a presentation of a lecture that Karl and I gave to the Denver Fire Department, Station Number 1, the Search and Rescue Group, on the latent hazards posed by low-head dams to first responders.
Low-head dams are dams about 4 feet high or less that span the breadth of a river. Under certain flow conditions, some low-head dams have a dangerous hydraulic boil below them that can trap people and watercraft. Do you see the log that is recirculating in the boil? That's what can happen to a person or a watercraft. A person can be circulated through the water so quickly and in such a confusion of bubbles that they don't know which way is up. Without immediate help, the victim will soon become exhausted and drown. Here's a video of a recreational kayaker who is being cheered on by his family and did not expect the dangerous hydraulic boil below the dam.
Oh, no. Yep, there he goes. Well, now what?
Professor Roland Hotchkiss of Brigham Young University and his graduate students have developed a database of fatalities at low-head dams in the United States. This graphic from BYU shows the prevalence of dangerous dams throughout the country.
Low-head dams were constructed throughout the United States for such purposes as milling, navigation, pooling water for intakes, and creating drops to generate hydropower. The dangers of low-head dams have not been immediately obvious because the deadly reverse roller effect can trap people, not necessarily in all flow conditions. Take the Island Farm Weir, for example, which was constructed in New Jersey on the Raritan River to impound water for water supply intakes. Here's a diagram of the Island Farm Weir as we found it on April 12, 1996. The water flows over the dam, goes into a jet, and then into the tailwater below, and the submerged hydraulic jump is formed with a reverse roller from which a human being, even a good swimmer, cannot escape. In effect, it's a drowning machine. The Island Farm Weir was modified in 1998 after 4 drownings and 3 near drownings in only a few years following its construction. The successful retrofit consisted of providing a series of steps on the downstream face to dissipate energy and to eliminate the opportunity for a submerged jump and reverse roller to form below the dam structure. The date of April 12, 1996 is important because on that day, the discharge of the dam had a flow of about 2,000 cubic feet per second, and the flow depth was about 1.5 feet over the crest of the weir. These conditions caused much of the water going over the weir to hit the bottom of the channel and flow backward to create a boil zone. On April 12, 1996, a kayaker capsized into the boil zone and was unable to escape. Here we show the Swackhammer Dam on Catherine Creek near Union, Oregon. This is a fish ladder built by the state and federal government so that fish could move from downstream to upstream for spawning purposes. Inadvertently, the designers created 2 submerged hydraulic jumps that were both reverse rollers, and both of the segments shown here were drowning machines. Back in Girard, Ohio, that looks like a dangerous low-head dam with a reverse roller, but Our examination of the dam showed that it was not a killer dam, it did not have a reverse roller, and the reason it didn't was because there was a concrete slab at the toe that caused the water to move from a vertical velocity to a horizontal velocity. It eliminated the reverse roller.
So one of the great hazards of low-head dams is that they are very difficult to identify as you are traveling down a river towards them. Oftentimes, you are not able as a boater or a kayaker to see the low-head dam as you approach it. You may not see much splashing, there may not be much noise. The dam itself is difficult to see because it's got a low profile, it's underneath the water. The person in the water may not notice that they are approaching the dam until it's too late to get to the side of the river. The photo you see here is a low-head dam in Iowa where there have been several drownings and water emergencies. A number of years ago, a husband and wife were floating down the Des Moines River in a boat watching fireworks. The boat went over the dam, capsized, and the man and woman were caught in the recirculating current for quite some time as rescue workers tried to save them. Eventually, a construction worker was able to use a crane and get hoisted over to the victims to help get the woman out of the water and pull her out. You can see that in this photo here. Unfortunately, that day her husband drowned.
Upstream from Des Moines, Iowa, is a town called Boone, Iowa. Their waterworks facility had a low-head dam on the Des Moines River, and when I say low head, it was really a low head. It was only about 18 inches high. And yet, a girl who had just graduated from the University of Iowa was celebrating her graduation. During the tubing, she went over the dam and was drowned. The lime kiln dam at Neosho, Missouri is well known for its drowning characteristic. In this particular picture, if you look over to the left, you'll see a sandbar. And two fishermen a couple years ago were finishing up their afternoon fishing expedition, and both drowned. This video shows the boil zone at the lime kiln dam that can occur under higher flow conditions. During some flow levels on the river, the lime kiln dam is not at all dangerous because there's not enough velocity in the water to cause a reverse roller. Here you see Dr. Andrew Earls of our office taking measurements. There was no hazard whatsoever. In Edinburgh, Indiana, there's a dam called the Thompson Mill Dam. It's a low-head dam that's very hazardous. In this particular instance, you'll see rescue workers searching for bodies. On this particular day, high school kids were out swimming on a sunny afternoon, and a girl was washed over the dam, and two of her friends jumped in after her, and both boys drowned. The girl was injured, but she survived. On the upper Sandusky River in Ohio, there's a waterworks dam that turned out to be deadly for two brothers from Bucyrus who were out kayaking. Note how beautiful and placid the water is above the dam. The brothers would not have expected the turbulent boil below the dam. The Paris, Kentucky Spears Mill Impoundment Dam is also for waterworks purposes, but this dam is particularly ill-suited. It's downstream about 1/2 mile from a boat rental agency. An unsuspecting boater or fisherman goes over the dam, there's almost certain death downstream to be caught in this rough water in the reverse roller where it's almost impossible to escape.
The Jackson Ditch Diversion Dam is a dam located to the west of Fort Collins, Colorado on the Cache la Poudre River. This dam is located downstream from a public park and resulted in the death of a young man tubing down the river. It is a dam with a dangerous hydraulic roller that is only sometimes present. The photo on the screen, for example, is a day where the roller is not present. It is also a dam where portage is difficult due to thick vegetation. The characteristics surrounding the reverse roller on the downstream side of the dam can be evaluated using hydraulic engineering principles. After the water flows over the dam, it accelerates. As the water accelerates, it becomes shallower and the depth becomes smaller. The velocity of the water is shown in this diagram as V1, and the depth is shown in this diagram as D1. The energy associated with the velocity of the water, a term called velocity head, is shown as V1 squared over 2G. As the water travels downstream and it encounters the flat stream bed at the base of the dam, it loses velocity and increases its depth. That water undergoes a transition from fast, shallow water to deep, slow water, and that transition is called a hydraulic jump. Some energy is lost in this hydraulic jump, and that loss of energy is shown as the term HJ in the diagram. Reverse rollers form when this hydraulic jump becomes submerged by high downstream tailwater.
To explain the hydraulic phases of low-head dams, we have 4 illustrations: Case 1, Case 2, Case 3, and then Case 4. In Case 1, the tailwater is very low. As a result, the turbulence is washed downstream and there is no hazard. In Case 2, the tailwater is at the conjugate depth, resulting in the classical hydraulic jump. There is no reverse roller. In Case 3, the tailwater causes the hydraulic jump to be submerged. This forms a reverse roller and creates a high hazard for drowning. Case 4 shows high flow conditions in which there are undulations in the water surface, but no reverse roller and no hazard.
This image is a 2-scale rendering of a hydraulic roller that trapped an individual at a low-head dam. The water flowing over the dam went to the bottom of the river and created a scour hole right below the dam and deposited sediment on the downstream side of it. This hole created an aerated boil in which part of the water flowed downstream and part of the water flowed back towards the dam. The victim was trapped in the upstream part of this boil and was unable to escape. There are some things that first responders can look for to let them know that they are dealing with a dangerous reverse roller. For example, trapped debris, white, frothy water, or objects bobbing up and down at the plunging jet are all signs that there may be a reverse roller keeping those things in place.
I was personally involved in an incident at a low-head dam in the 1970s. I was rafting down the South Platte River with a group of people, including Governor Richard Lamb. We knew that we needed to portage our raft around the low-head dam that you see here. But some other rafters right behind us did not know that. Here you see the boat downstream of the dam being pulled back toward the dam by the reverse current. In this photo, you see the boat being submerged because it was pulled back into the falling water by the reverse roller. Luckily, the Denver Fire Department rescue squad was there because of the governor, and they were able to perform a successful rescue. This is a photograph of a water rescue boat with personnel on the boat trying to recover the kayak that had been overturned. One of the things about this picture is that you can learn quickly that you need to be careful, because if the boat got close to the dam, it'd likely be overturned and the people thrown into the water.
The next video shows that even water rescue professionals can be deceived about their ability to cope with the dangerous reverse roller present at low-head dams.
Binghamton, New York, September 29, 1975. A television news team videotaped this attempt to recover the body of a fireman drowned during a rescue the day before. The boat is approaching the boil.
Is that the fire chief in the boat?
The guy standing up. Pick up speed?
Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
Uh-oh.
Oh, God. It's the guy away from the boat that's in trouble.
Two of the men are now lost. More than an hour has passed since the victim first entered the water. A number of shore-based attempts to save him have failed.
Hang on to the boat, kid.
God, hang on the boat.
Come on, kid, fight. Come on. They almost got out of the wash.
Here they come.
The second boat crosses the boil.
They might be able to get it. If he pops out this time, should be able to grab him. Watch this boat.
There goes that boat. That boat's gonna go over. That boat's gonna go over.
Is that Tommy?
They're swamped. Yeah, there they go.
The boat has broken the uniform current of the hydraulic, and all 3 men are slowly washed out alive.
That guy's going to get out.
3 others are dead.
That's what they should all do.
One method for rescuers to help protect themselves from getting sucked into the reverse roller is to have multiple boats on scene. There can be a boat well downstream from the reverse roller, tied off to the boat closer to the reverse roller. The boat on the downstream end provides an anchor for the boat on the upstream end, preventing it from getting forced into the dam too quickly when it catches that upstream flowing water. Conversely, the boat on the upstream side, already being anchored from the downstream side, is able to provide rescue assistance or throw, in this case, a life ring to the victim that they're trying to attend to.
Another way of securing the rescue boat from being drawn into the turbulent water, the reverse roller, is to use ropes tied to the shore. And here is an example of how ropes could be used to hold the boat in place into a safe position while they try to rescue the victim who is on the other side of the boil in the reverse roller.
One example of a rescue gone wrong is this attempted rescue on the Rock River in Illinois. As can be seen in this video, the rescue personnel approached the Lowhead Dam from the upstream side in an attempt to rescue a mother and child trapped in the hydraulic roller at the base of the dam. The rescue boat was anchored by rope, and the intention was for the rescuers to go over the dam, recover the victims, and then be pulled out upstream and over the dam. After going over the dam, the rescue raft was immediately trapped in the hydraulic at the base of the dam. The rescuers were buffeted by the water flowing over the dam, and after coming in contact with the victims, an attempt to pull the raft up and over the dam failed, and both the victims and the rescuers were flung from the raft into the hydraulic roller. One of the victims was lost in this accident. Next, we want you to see an example of a rescue practice session that went wrong due to the hidden danger posed by a Lowhead Dam.
God only knows what I'd be without you. God only knows what I'd be without you.
Sergeant Karl Kelly, along with Sergeants Tim Teriak, Stephen Woolwine, and Tom John, all now retired, were part of the elite Indiana River Rescue Team in April 1998.
Well, we're at Williams Dam, Lawrence County, Indiana, and in 1998 we were here as well, preparing to do some water rescue training exercises.
As rescue team commander, Captain Terry Hyman was also there at Williams Dam that day.
We decided to go out and simulate that somebody was caught in the face of the Lowhead Dam at Williams.
The routine training exercise began turning tragic when the 2 boats containing Sergeants Kelly, Teriak, Woolwine, and John got caught in and couldn't escape from the treacherous recirculating waters at the face of Williams Dam.
Next thing I know, it's just like wham.
Now 2 boats trapped and 4 people in the water.
I remember my dad talking about when he was thrown out of his boat. I remember him talking about going under the water and coming back up, gasping for air.
Quite honestly, we didn't expect we was going to get out of there.
This tremendous force just shoves you down. You have no control whatsoever.
So like the Jolly Green Giant just did a slam dunk with a volleyball. And that's what I felt like.
I felt something poking me in the back, probably rebar or something, and then felt like it was a dump truck sitting on my chest. And I was trying to swim up. And you're always concerned when it shoves you down, if you can hold your breath long enough, till you come back up, and if you can get a breath before it shoves you down again. And we were unfortunate enough to have a dead cow in there. And a great big bloated dead cow was being recirculated, bouncing into us, bouncing off the boat. Tom and I both thought that this is it. And we prayed out loud. We prayed out loud for the Lord to save us.
All of them have been recirculated multiple times. Karl, unfortunately, had just been recirculated a few more times than the rest of them, and where 3 of the 4 lived through the ordeal, Karl succumbed and didn't live.
We had the best equipment, the best training, the best stuff, and yet we ended up in that situation. If we can get caught in this thing, if this thing can beat us, anybody's fair game for this thing.
We would like to close this with a video of a proper and successful rescue attempt using boats. The point that Karl and I want to make today is that when you are called to a low-head dam, you must be aware of the hidden dangers to keep you and your crew safe.